Welcome back everybody. This is just another short video. I'd had on social media, I'd had a couple of requests just to show. I'd mentioned that I'd made some items in the past for some people that were well into calligraphy and that, you know, and the proper ink pens or the dip pens, whichever you want to call them. And I made some items, desktop inkwells and what have you. Now what you have here at the back of it is I only ever made one of these, and the simple reason was there was so much time and effort gone into it. It's been so long since I made it, and this is a miniature writing bureau. Now this was done in conjunction with the, I didn't have the 4040 then. It's done in conjunction with my large CNC and using it as a fixed overhead router for cutting the tenons, and everything on there barring the metal work have been done on the CNC. Okay, the timber's been planed up different, I admit that, but all the machining parts and everything's been done on the CNC. Okay, either in the CNC mode or the fixed overhead router mode. I even did some jig and pinning on it, but one of the other things is I'd just like to mention is on my last video I did on the jig and pinning on the 4040, using it as a overhead router and using a pin. And that was surely just it was just to show what you can do if you have to. And I got a comment from a gentleman, and I accept everybody's comment, and his first line he started off with, well, I don't want to appear rude. Well, it wasn't a comment, it was more a lecture and more of writing a book. It just went in too in depth with stating that my work ethics, my workshop ethics, really out. When you've got a CNC, why would you do anything manual and this and other? And it went on and on and on. What he didn't grasp, I did answer him, what he didn't grasp was the videos were to show you what you can do and what a CNC machine is capable of, a home one, and you won't do it in a factory because it'd be non-productive. I ain't working the machines to make money. It's surely a hobby for me now. That's all it is. In mass production, and it's I mean, please, anybody that's watching this video, go back to the jig and pin and read his comments. He didn't grasp everybody's a right of choice of how they work in their workshop, and I would never ever knock anybody. I've got good friends of mine that have a full machine shop, and yet they still go back to the old ways of using things with hand. They've got CNC, but they do things by hand. They just like the craft of working and using your brain to do a workaround than just using a CNC, and you wouldn't grasp this. And I just put a question. Well, I answered him back, politely answered him back. I said the other week I had a situation where a gentleman came to me and he'd 50 pieces of 4mm carbon fibre, and he said, can you, he's a friend of mine, he says, can you actually cut some shapes out for me out of these 50 pieces? I said, yeah. He said there were 6 different shapes, but a total of 50 pieces when you add them up, 3 of this and 6 of this. And I said, well, yeah, I can do. He said they've got to be accurate, and he gave me the actual plywood patterns that he used. He'd cut them out, and what he was doing was he was actually putting them on, putting the plywood on top of the actual carbon fibre and cutting round them and then finishing them off. I said, yeah, there's not a problem. I said, I'll do it. I used a CNC, but I didn't use a computer part of it. I used a jig and pin, and all I did was, now you can imagine that if you're actually wanting to do a specific complicated profile of a piece with cutouts in the centre, then you've got to draw that accurately. However, and I would have had 6 drawings to do in order to get that exact, and then you would have to test it out, because he said they need to be exactly that size, the pattern sizes. I said, there's not a problem. And he looked at me and said, all right. I said, I'll get them done for you next day. Oh, right. And all I did, I used the pattern, which was the pattern what he was using to cut them out, were about 5-6 mil thick. So I put a pin in, I used the pattern, I double-sided taped it to the to an actual baseboard, or rather a sandwich board, which was a piece of MDF. Stuck it to that, then I put the piece that I was cutting on top. Okay, that was put on by double-sided tape, and I just put a couple of little screws in parts where it was an offcut. Okay, they weren't much, but they're enough to put a couple of screws in. And I just put, because with carbon fibre when you're machining it like that, sometimes it can vibrate a bit and you get a chatter cut. But as I say, this is the way I do it. People do it differently. I put it over the jig and pin with the original pattern, and I cut first one out, then I cut another one out. I did all 50 pieces in just over half a day. I never use it. I use a jig and pin. If I'd have come to have drawn 6 individual shapes, then make sure they're right. Well, I've had to have done a test piece on a piece of tin, but make sure it would have been right. And been foolish to put it in and find out it's carbon fibre, because it was actual carbon fibre. He came, I told him they're ready. He said, you've done them all? I said, yeah. And he came back and he checked them. He said, they're absolutely spot on. How did you do it? I said, I actually used the templates that you gave me for the cutouts inside, everything. The only thing I couldn't do is some parts of his, the internal cutouts, were actual corners inside. Well, obviously I was using a 6 mil bit, so it left a 6 mil round in the corner, but he said, well, that doesn't matter. No, it's the outer shape that has to be correct. But that's fine. I've done them. So that was a way that I use a jig and pin, but this gentleman wouldn't accept that. As you read in his answer to me. I also said, like a few weeks ago, I had a situation where I was doing a job and I got a ransom virus on my computer. I thought, oh, so I took it in for it sorting, and it was away for a little bit because he couldn't just do it there and then. He'd work stacked up, so I had no computer, so hence I couldn't use the CNC. But I did use it, because the jobs that I could use, I used with a fixed fence. So it's not about, I find it, it's an advantage for me to be able to use the CNC in a different manner than just computerized. And I just don't see anything wrong in that, but this gentleman did. Although he said, I don't want to appear rude, saying that my workshop ethics or my workshop, how I deal with it in a workshop is wrong. So anyway, that's besides. I'd just like to, if you're watching this, read the previous comments in the other video. It's asking anybody to do what I've shown in the last videos, tenon, mortise, using the CNC as a fixed overhead router, or jig and pin. It's just me, how I utilise every bit of that machine, and I do my pro machine, and I do the 3030 as well. Okay, I have fence systems for both. That's what I choose to do. Yeah, it's easy to go to a computer and let that do the work for you, but sometimes, like I'll show you on the writing bureau I've done, there's a lot of long tenons, and I cut the end parts out on the CNC, and it put all the grooves in for the internal partitions, but all the actual machining of the raised panel doors, all the mortise and tenon joints of the doors and the tenons of the internal panels and the drawers were all done using the CNC with a fence as a fixed overhead router, and it did it perfect, as I'll show you. As I say, it's only a quick video, and I'll put some pictures in of some inkwells that I did quite a number of them for some people. I did them in the whatever material they wanted, timber wise, and I said, you know, and I've got some pictures of those. I don't have any because they were, I manufactured them and then passed them on, obviously, but I have some pictures, and I will put photos in the video of the inkwells that I did. So I'll take you over to the unit and I'll show you what it is. Right, here we are at the bureau. As you can see, it's just under 300 mil. It's about 290 tall, 170 wide or depth, and about 250 wide. Okay, now this is made out of mahogany. It's all solid mahogany, as you can see the raised panel doors. Okay, and even if I turn it round, it's raised panel at the back. Okay, all tenoned, mortise and tenon at the doors. Okay, or profile scribed, whichever way you want to look at it. I'll show you what's inside it. Now you can see there, that is what it's like when it opens up. Okay, you can see there that there's two leather inlays at the top, two hand turn proper ink pens. I'll show you. There's two of those. They're made out of mahogany to match. Okay, there's two of those. The pens were turned on the lathe, obviously, my big lathe. And then you've got the little bolt opens the unit up. You can see the little bolt, all made out of brass, and the little clasp on there. Okay, the little knobs are turned on the my father's metalwork lathe. Okay, this is the actual inkwell that lifts out. Alright, that's the ink well that you put your ink in, which will be in that bottle, leather inlay, and it's got two brass little drip trays there. Okay, and you find out that the pens sit in that. Okay, that's how they sit, like that. So you would take your pen out, dip it in the ink, right, and obviously put it back, allow it to drain. These are just for storage purposes up here. I'll put them back. It has, of course, a solid brass letter opener. Okay, now this is where I was telling you, or even this, it was all done on the profiled and moulded, all done on the using a pin, and then just moving round with the profile cutter on. Okay, the upright is actually mortised into the bottom here. So there's a groove cut on inside of there, which was done when this originally was cut out. It was cut out on the CNC and grooved. Alright, these are all mortised in to here and grooved, and the profile cut on it was done afterwards. Alright, using the pin with the profile cutter in. Okay, and then you have a drawer here which pulls out, and that has groove bottoming. It isn't just put on, it's all grooved in as a base, and it's got leather in the inside. Okay, all these are mortised into here, and these here are all mortised into the sides, and the tenons on these were all done on the CNC with a fixed fence. This is actually, it's all put together as a unit. That's mortised into that, and that's mortised into that. Okay, there's nothing in down the centre one because these are to separate. Okay, and that actually there is mortised into there, and it's mortised into the top at an angle as well. All the doors, you can see the doors, they're all, you can see them, what you can see in the end, hope you can. They're all mortised in. Okay, all raised panels, and it's all solid. And that's just one of the actual, one of many writing items that I've made on the CNC. And the ink holes that I did were done in a similar way like this, but it was a separate one. I'll put the pictures on, and it was done again. I used fixed fence system, and I used the CNC. Okay, feet, all these here, just shut that up. The feet are done in one piece, one length, and then these are machined out again. I used the fixed fence system, and then these are actually all moulded on the inside and then just mitered across. And you've got 4 on either corner. I've got like felt underneath to stop it, but all in all, it's quite a nice piece, and I spent a bit of time doing it. And as you know, with fixed panels, with timbering, there's got to be a little bit of movement in. If there isn't, something will move apart. And now, I have been asked on numerous occasions, would I sell it? No. I used to have a big oak writing desk with a big leather inlay, and I always said I would eventually make myself when I did the drawings for it, and then I decided on keeping it. So, but there you go. Got rid of the desk and kept this. So I'll probably pass it down, but it's just one of the items that I've used the CNC for, and the fixed fence system, using it as an overhead router. So there you go. I hope it's just showing you something that I am capable, not like some of the comments I get. You utilise all what you have in your toolbox or workshop, and that's what I do. I like to use different things. I don't you know, if I to make another one of these, I might do it a different way, because it's to do it another one the same, it'd be repetition work, and I've been in that machine shop environment, and it's boring. So I just like to use my brain and think of a different way of machining. There you go, that's how I do it. Well, that's the conclusion to this video. I just hope it just showed a bit of something different from what I normally do. Is the item, as I say, what I've done here is for myself, and it's an item that I'll probably hand down. I've had numerous offers to purchase it off me, but it's not for sale, and it was done on within my workshop. It was done on the CNC and utilising it as well as a fixed overhead router, as I've shown in the videos. And if anybody has used a fixed overhead router, please in the comments let me know. I'd be interested. As I say, the comment I received on the last one, the jig and pin, was, well, it was pretty amazing. It's like reading a book twice. But as I say, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I did answer him, and after I answered him I just got another reply, another book. It been a bit well, he said he didn't want to pay road, but he'd been very patronising. As I say, everybody's right in their comments, but anyway, like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, please. It helps me, and I'll answer all your comments if there is any. I don't get a lot of comments sometimes, but on my videos, but you know, please like it if you can, and I will be making another video shortly. I'm hoping when it comes in is the filament joining device from I think it's eSun, but it's obviously I've purchased it well before it come out. I'm still waiting for it, so we'll see what that's like, and I'll do a review on that, because it'll come in useful for me. I've lots of bits of filament of the same colour, and I'll join them together. So right, end of the video. Like, subscribe, and as I always say, end of video, please be safe and be careful, and until next time, bye from me at Tony's Top Tips Workshop.